Good morning and welcome back to the channel. I greatly appreciate you tuning in again today. We're going to be continuing the book of Numbers. First, our morning prayer. Father, as I read and receive your word, may it deeply be rooted in me, so when difficulty comes, it will be your word that encourages and strengthens me. Amen. All right. So as I mentioned, we're going to continue the book of Numbers. We're going to start with chapter 22 today, which is Balak sends for Balaam. Then the people of Israel traveled to the plains of Moab and camped east of the Jordan River across from Jericho. Balak, son of Zippor, the Moabite king, knew what the Israelites had done to the Amorites, and when they saw how many Israelites there were, he and his people were terrified. The king of Moab said to the leaders of Midian, "This mob will devour everything in sight, like an ox devours grass." So Balak, king of Moab, sent messengers to Balaam, son of Beor, who was living in his native land of Pethor, near the Euphrates River. He sent this message to request that Balaam come to help him. "A vast horde of people has arrived from Egypt. They cover the face of the earth and are threatening me. Please come and curse them for me because they are so numerous. Then perhaps I will be able to conquer them and drive them from the land. I know the blessings fall on the people you bless. I also know that the people you curse are doomed." Balak's messengers, officials of both Moab and Midian, set out and took money with them to pay Balaam to curse Israel. They went to Balaam and urgently explained to him what Balak wanted. "Stay here overnight," Balaam said. "In the morning I will tell you whatever the Lord directs me to say." So the officials from Moab stayed there with Balaam. That night God came to Balaam and asked him, "Who are these men with you?" So Balaam said to God, "Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent me this message. A vast horde of people have come from Egypt and has spread out over the whole land. Come at once to curse them, perhaps that I will be able to conquer them and drive them from Israel." "Do not go with them," God told Balaam. "You are not to curse these people, for I have blessed them." The next morning, Balaam got up and told Balak's officials, "Go home. The Lord will not let me go with you." So the Moabite officials returned to King Balak and reported, "Balaam refused to come with us." Then Balak tried again. This time he sent a larger number of even more distinguished officials than those he had sent the first time. They went to Balaam and gave him the message. "This is what Balak, son of Zippor, says. Please don't let anything stop you from coming. I will pay you well and do anything you ask of me. Just come and curse these people for me." But Balaam answered them, "Even if Balak were to give me a palace filled with silver and gold, I would be powerless to do anything against the will of the Lord, my God. But stay here one more night to see if the Lord has anything else to say to me." Stop it. That night, God came to Balaam and told him, "Since these men have come for you, get up and go with them, but be sure to do only what I tell you to do." Balaam and his donkey. So the next morning, Balaam saddled his donkey and started off with Moabite officials. But God was furious that Balaam was going, so he sent the angel of the Lord to stand in the road to block his way. As Balaam and two servants were riding along, Balaam's donkey suddenly saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. The donkey bolted off down the road into the field, but Balaam beat it and turned it back onto the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood at a place where the road narrowed between the two vineyard walls. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing there, it tried to squeeze by and crush Balaam's foot against the wall. So Balaam beat the donkey again. Then the angel of the Lord moved farther down the road and stood in the place so narrow that the donkey could not get by at all. This time when the donkey saw the angel, it lay down under Balaam. In a fit of rage, Balaam beat it again with his staff. Then the Lord caused the donkey to speak. "What have I done to you that deserves your beating me these 3 times?" it asked Balaam. Because you have made me look like a fool, Balaam shouted. If I had a sword with me, I would kill you. But I am the same donkey you always ride on, the donkey answered. Have I ever done anything like this before? No, he admitted. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the roadway with a drawn sword in his hand. Balaam fell face down on the road before him. Why did you beat your donkey those 3 times? The angel of the Lord demanded. I have come to block your way because you are stubbornly resisting me. 3 times the donkey saw me and shied away. Otherwise, I certainly would have killed you by now and spared the donkey. Then Balaam confessed to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to block my way. I will go back home if you are against my going. But the angel of the Lord told him, Go with these men, but you may say only what I tell you to say. So Balaam went on with the Balak's officials. When King Balak heard that Balaam was on the way, he went out to meet him at a Moabite town on the Aran River at the border of his land. Did I not send you an urgent invitation? Why didn't you come right away? Balak asked Balaam. Didn't you believe me when I said I would reward you richly? Balaam replied, I have come, but I have no power to say just anything. I will speak only the messages that God gives me. Then Balaam accompanied Balak to Kiriath Huzoth, where the king sacrificed cattle and sheep. He sent portions of the meat to Balaam and the officials who were with him. The next morning, Balak took Balaam up to Bamuth Baal. From there he could see the people of Israel spread out below him. Chapter 23. Balaam Blesses Israel. Balaam said to King Balak, Build me 7 altars here and prepare 7 young bulls and 7 rams for a sacrifice. Balak followed his instructions, and the 2 of them sacrificed a young bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to Balak, Stand here by your burnt offerings, and I will go to see if the Lord will respond to me. Then I will tell you whatever he reveals to me. So Balaam went alone to the top of the hill, and God met him there. Balaam said to him, I have prepared 7 altars and have sacrificed a young bull and a ram on each altar. Then the Lord gave Balaam a message for King Balak and said, Go back to Balak and tell him what I told you. When Balaam returned, the king was standing beside his burnt offerings with all the officials of Moab. This was the prophecy Balaam delivered. Balak summoned me to come from Aram. The king of Moab brought me from the eastern hills. Come, he said, curse Jacob for me. Come and announce Israel's doom. But how can I curse those whom God has not cursed? How can I condemn those whom the Lord has not condemned? I see them from the cliff tops. I watch them from the hills. I see a people who live by themselves, set apart from other nations. Who can count Jacob's descendants as numerous as dust? Who can count even 1/4 of Israel's people? Let me die like the righteous. Let me die. Let my life end like theirs. Then King Balak demanded of Balaam, What have you done to me? I brought you to curse my enemies. Instead you have blessed them? But Balaam replied, Can I say anything except what the Lord tells me? Balaam's second prophecy. The king Balak told him, Come with me to another place. There you will see only a portion of the nation of Israel. Curse at least that many. So Balak took Balaam to the plateau of Zophim on Pish Peak. He built 7 altars there and offered a young bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to the king, Stand here by your burnt offerings while I go to meet the Lord. So the Lord met Balaam and gave him a message, and he said, Go back to Balak and give him this message. So Balaam returned to the place where the king and the officials of Moab were standing, besides Balak's burnt offerings. What did the Lord say? Balak asked eagerly. This was the prophecy Balaam delivered. Rise up, Balak, and listen. Hear me, son of Zippor. God is not a man that he should lie. He is not a human that he should change his mind. Has he ever spoken and failed to act? Has he ever promised and not carried it through? I received a command to bless. He has blessed, and I cannot reverse it. No misfortune is in sight for Jacob. No trouble is in store for Israel. For the Lord their God is with them. He has been proclaimed their king. God has brought them out of Egypt. He is like a strong ox for them. No curse can touch Jacob. No sorcery has any power against Israel. For now it will be said of Jacob, what wonders God has done for Israel. These people rise up like a lioness, like a majestic lion they stand. They refuse to rest until they have feasted on prey, drinking the blood of the slaughtered. Then Balak said to Balaam, if you aren't going to curse them, at least don't bless them. Balaam replied, didn't I tell you that I must do whatever the Lord tells me? Balaam's third prophecy. Then King Balak said to Balaam, come, I will take you to yet another place. Perhaps it will please God to let you curse them from there. So Balak took Balaam to the top of Mount Peor overlooking the wasteland. Balaam again told Balak, build me 7 altars, prepare me 7 young bulls and 7 rams for sacrifice. So Balak did as Balaam ordered and offered a young bull and ram on each altar. Well, thank you again for joining me today. I look forward to continuing reading Numbers, and I look forward to you listening at that point in time. Have a blessed day. Thank you.